The number one lie for high powered professionals, it's usually that they don't need a lot of sleep, that they're just like tougher, that stress doesn't affect them as much. They don't need stress alleviation, that they're just like, I'm a high powered individual or I'm an entrepreneur and I'm above that and I can just like operate with less. And so I'm just gonna go, push, and make work the only focus.
Here is something you need to hear. You're not lazy. You're just misaligned. I'm Kepo. I help high performers get unstuck by taking bold, aligned action. And this is Grow with Kepo, where we speak with influential trailblazers who've made their mark and found the clarity that changed their lives. This is where we get clear, realign, and move toward a life that actually feels like yours. Welcome to the show. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show. I am so pumped about today because the person that we're going to, not only have I been working with her closely for over a year and just been in her world for like, I don't know how many years now, maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You guys are about to get the best, if I may say so, the best when it comes to fitness and nutritional coaching. And why are we going into this today? I want to go into this because your physical health is a non-negotiable. If you're trying to start a side business, you're trying to, be excellent at your 9 to 5 or whatever, you need your body because that's literally all you have to carry around with you. If you even if you want to go on vacation off of your work and you want to live life, you want to YOLO, you still need your body, right? And that is why I am bringing to you Dala McDevitt. Drum roll. She is a world-class fitness and nutrition coach, and she is just super amazing at what she does. If you're in doubt about that, you can check out my pics and see how fit I look.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're going to be going into how you high professionals and high achievers can actually make fitness and a healthy lifestyle a thing for you without burning out, and how it can help you to actually avoid burnout when you're going out doing high power stuff. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Dala. I'm excited to have you.
Thank you. So excited to be here. We're going to talk about some awesome stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So there are so many places, there's so many ways to tackle this, or so many places to start. And I know that you've worked with thousands of people, literally. And I know a lot of them are likely high achieving professionals, like the ones that are listening to this today. And what is the number one lie that busy people tell themselves when it comes to maintaining a fit and healthy lifestyle?
The number one lie, I feel like it's for high powered professionals, it's usually that they don't need it, that they don't need a lot of sleep, that they're just like tougher, that they can function on less sleep, that stress doesn't affect them as much. They don't need that like fluffy time outdoors. They don't need stress alleviation, that they're just like, I'm a high powered individual or I'm an entrepreneur and I'm above that. And I can just like, like operate with less. And so I'm just going to, go, push, and make work the only focus.
Oh my gosh. And I'm so glad that that's what you're starting with, because that is a lie that we have told ourselves. And that is why a lot of us are in trouble today, because a lot of issues have piled on and we're telling ourselves that, oh, we don't need this. I just need to focus on my profession or whatever. And then what ends up happening is we actually hit that burnout, right? But we use the word burnout so loosely and so generously these days. In your experience, what in detail does burnout look like for a busy person? What are the things that they're saying? What are the things that they say they are feeling?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when we'll think about burnout from a fitness and nutrition and bodily perspective, because obviously there's like an emotional sense of burnout that sometimes people feel and like that overwhelm, analysis paralysis. But when we're thinking about, a high powered individual getting physically burnt out because they're not taking care of their bodily needs, it can get to the point of just feeling foggy and hazy, like not as sharp, not as decisive, energy waxing and waning significantly, like the caffeine that high powered individuals love really cranks you up, but then there's energy crashes like all throughout the day. And that like 2 to 3 p.m. hits harder, that 5 p.m. hits harder. Often sleep disturbances, you might be like more and more and more tired, but for some reason, it's even harder to fall asleep. It might take longer to fall asleep. We might struggle to stay asleep. And then, if you are currently participating in exercise, if you might find that you're starting to like skip more workouts and not enjoying it as much because everything feels so heavy and exhausting, and the workouts aren't fun and empowering and like energy giving anymore. Your nervous system is just a little bit more fried. And so when you're trying to use that nervous system to talk to your muscles, it's not fun anymore. And you've got like the shakes and everything feels like it weighs a million pounds. And the workout is just the exhausting kind of workout that you don't look forward to. And now you're wanting to skip entirely.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I've had a crazy few weeks, as you know, Dora. I don't know.
Yes.
Is she talking about me right now?
That wasn't directed at you, but that's like what we all would commonly experience as well as like appetite changes too, whether up or down. For some people, whenever they start to get burnt out, food has no interest and they really struggle with under eating. And for other people, that appetite just starts going all over the place. The cravings are really high and we're like eating like crazy.
Oh my gosh, I love these examples because this really breaks it down for people. It's like, okay, so I'm not crazy, I'm not lazy, I'm not quote unquote procrastinating, I'm approaching burnout, right? But the
Yes.
thing is, and this is something that I want us to tackle on this show. So if you're listening to this, this is your final last stop for this thing, this all or nothing mindset. Because I'm pretty sure that what is going on in the minds of people listening or watching is, okay, so how do I do that? And oh my
Yeah.
God, this means I have to change my whole life. I have to do this, do that, do that. Like, how would you advise somebody who is already feeling like that? Like, how would you advise them to actually start making healthier choices so that it becomes a part and parcel of their lives and not another full-time job that they have to focus on?
Yeah, that's totally fair. And especially for high performers, it probably feels like there's no hours in the day. And so they're thinking, like, this sounds great, but I don't have time to meal prep. I don't have time to go for walks. I barely get to the gym anymore. I don't have time for more sleep. If we're thinking about hierarchy and what are the things that are it's going to have the biggest impact, sleep is going to be number one. I would actually argue if you are that limited on time or bandwidth and we can just only take one thing on, let's try as often as possible. We don't have to be perfect, but let's try to get 7 hours of sleep a night because everything else is going to function better when we're sleeping better. Your body's going to be more resilient to stress. So maybe you're going through a launch. You just launched your business. We're headed into the holidays, the busy season, and your business is picking up. And you're just like, I can't slow down. Like, I can't work less. Then let's think about how to make your body more resilient to the stress that we cannot change. So, what we can change and what we can try to do is spend more time in bed, which usually for high powered individuals means going to bed earlier because we like to work late. We like to sit up with our laptop or on our phone. We blast ourselves with screens till 9, 10, 11, midnight. High performers usually don't have as much difficulty getting up early because they want to get up early and get to work and start doing stuff. But just even closing the laptop, putting the phone down 30 minutes earlier and getting more rest at night is going to be the number one thing that you're going to see positive effects from.
You know what, Dela? I'm glad you mentioned the sleep one because I am right there right now. And I can for sure testify to this because I've had the last 2 weeks of travel, a lot going on. I'm trying to work on this podcast. I have a full-time job. I have a coaching business. I just launched a free challenge, and there's just everything is happening at the same time. And there is such a big difference in how quickly I can make decisions, even how I
Yes.
interact with other people, how sharp my content is when I'm creating content for Instagram or whatever, how engaged I am at work, on Zoom calls or whatever. There's just a huge difference between when I sleep, like when I have like 6 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep versus 8 hours of sleep. Case in point, today, I love what you said about making training our body or helping our body to handle even more stress. And honestly, I'm looking at all the things that I have going on. I'm like, how am I not crashing? How am I not burning out? And I can testify to what Dela is saying. It is because I am guarding my sleep so viciously this week. Like, whatever happens, I will sleep. Aura Ring says my sleep score is 94, but my readiness is 61. I'm like, as long as I'm sleeping, my readiness score moved from 57 to 61 over one day. I'm like, okay, let me just keep getting better and better as long as I am sleeping. Like, it just makes all the difference in the world. It doesn't mean I still don't struggle, but it is that, right? And then you mentioned screens, screen time, screen time, screen time. Some people even say that they sleep with TV on. And I don't understand that. Like, have you encountered clients like that? Like, does that actually really work? Like, can you help us tell them why screen time closer to bedtime doesn't help?
Screen time is hard to avoid, especially when you're somebody who works a lot, because that tends to happen on computers and phones. Like my screen time is really, really high. I think where screen time starts to disrupt our body's ability to like rest and function and be resilient is late at night and yes, while sleeping. Like when the sun goes down and our natural circadian rhythm is trying to tell us like it's time for bed, we want to release melatonin, we want you to be, asleep before midnight for that growth hormone and all of those restorative processes. But then we are sitting in front of screens, sometimes often like watching TV and on our phone at the same time. And if we're not using any like blue light blocking, sometimes it was just like confusing for our brains to be stimulated by so much. And also, depending on what you're consuming, sometimes I will like I'll start researching content accidentally. And then I'll start thinking, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this. And I'm getting my brain ramped up to think about work. And I'm kind of elevating my stress during the time of night when I really want to be relaxing and letting myself like get tired so that I can go to sleep. So I think it's being conscientious of like how much screen exposure is there like after sundown and before bed. What are we consuming? And are we getting ourselves kind of amped up, stressed, worried, reading emails that we probably should have waited and read in the morning? And then what you were saying about like sleeping in front of the TV, I would really discourage because even when our eyelids are closed, we perceive light. Like if your eyelids are closed in a dark room and somebody turns on the lights, it's going to wake you up. And so even while you're sleeping, the flashes of the TV are giving your brain information and your brain can't really just turn off the way that it can in a fully dark room. That's why it's recommended that you not even have like clocks on with like, like lights or any TV lights, like really try to make the room as pitch black as possible. And that TV is usually waking you up at some point in the night too. Every client that I've ever had who says they fall asleep with the television says that they also usually wake up at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to turn it off. And so then that's evidence right there that it's interrupting your sleep. And if it's interrupting a REM cycle, that could have a really negative impact.
Oh my gosh. Even I haven't heard that aspect of, your brain, your body is still like absorbing the light. I knew it. I knew something was wrong. I'm like, this is not right. I don't think we were created because when humans first existed, there was no TV and we slept well.
Yes.
And some of these people that say, oh, I can't sleep without TV. I'm like, there was a time in your life when, what are you talking about? Like, you didn't even have TV in your room. So
Yes.
how have you now changed the story to, oh my God, I need my TV on? No, you don't. No, you don't.
You can change it. You are absolutely right. If you have developed a sleep practice that you are habituated to, it can be difficult to break. If you fall asleep with the TV on, yes, there's probably going to be a sticky period where it feels weird. I would recommend maybe using a sound machine because if you need a little bit of like an auditory cue, if you do leave it on, if you like the light, you could consider a night light in the corner. Red light can be good actually as like a dim light to sleep with. So there's ways to kind of try to make it easier for yourself, but you can sleep without TV. Like you absolutely can. And I promise you, if you went cold turkey on TV, there might be a few nights or even a week of difficulty. And then before you know it, you would never need a TV again for the rest of your life.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree with that. And so we've talked about some of the things that people need to stop doing, right? To actually
Yeah.
calm their minds down so they're actually ready for sleep, reduce blue screen, um, be conscientious about the things that you are consuming, right? Don't
Yeah.
consume anything that's going to get you amped up, like work. We've talked about not, replacing TV with other things like red light, audio sounds or whatever. What are two or three things that people can start doing more of to calm down before sleep?
Yeah. So for most people, trying to eat at least 2 hours before we're going to bed, because when we eat food, our metabolism kicks up and we put off a lot of heat. And for some people, that heat from the metabolism can cause sleep disturbances. If you find that you go to bed at 10 o'clock and you're always waking up by midnight or 1 a.m. for the first time, sometimes that can be related to eating too close to bed. So where we place our meals, also trying to refrain from drinking water within like an hour of going to bed, just so that we're not getting up and disturbing sleep to go to the bathroom too much. Um, Making your environment darker and dimmer and calming and more relaxing. Like try to avoid the big overhead lights, like your house being fully or your apartment being fully lit. We have a dimmer on like this one light in our kitchen, and once 7:30, 8 o'clock rolls around, we dim the lights and we try to start creating darkness. Even if we're watching TV and there's some blue light, try to make the rest of the environment like quiet, calming, and relaxing. And if you are a reader, books are always going to win over TVs. Like I will admit that that's not me. I'm usually watching Netflix or a show, so I won't say that that's like, all bad. But if you are the kind of person that enjoys reading, that is so much more relaxing because there's absolutely no screens and no blue light. You're usually doing it with like a soft lamp lighting next to you, and that's kind of like the optimal way to really wind down before bed.
Okay, so all of this started because we're talking about the all or nothing mindset, right? You don't like, yes, you can start to make a healthy and fit life, your lifestyle. And if there is anything that you can choose, it is sleep. And we've talked about how you can actually get better sleep. So, what other mindsets do you see busy people have that actually sabotages their journey, their health and fitness journey?
Yeah, so for busy, like high performers especially, it's definitely the perfectionism mindset. They do most things in their life with such a standard and often a little bit of an obsession. Like there's a little bit of an obsession that drives somebody to be a high performer and a high achiever and set goals, that if anything in life can't be done to a certain standard, it's kind of viewed as not worth doing. So usually these people do not want to hear like, hey, meal prepping doesn't have to be perfect. Like, try to make one meal of the day healthy, even if the others aren't. They're like, no, like, it either all needs to be perfect or like, I'm not going to meal prep. Like, I'm not going to, like, track anything. Like, I'm not going to pay attention to that. Or on the workout front, it's like, well, if I can't work out 5 days a week, then I'm just going to not work out until like after the busy season, because they can't wrap their mind around the fact that like a 20-minute body weight only workout in the living room also counts and does something good for them. And I think that if we could reframe this, everything needs to be perfect and done at 100%, they could actually be a lot healthier, because that's not what the body requires. The body is all about homeostasis and balance. Every little bit counts. A 5-minute walk changes your physiology. Your heart rate increases, your blood flow increases, the circulation to your brain, your extremities increases. It takes very little amounts of things and very like low doses for your body to respond and benefit. And so you don't need to be setting the bar so high that you're not going to participate in health behaviors unless you can make it another full-time job for yourself.
Hey, can I be real with you? Your next chapter isn't going to start itself. If you're in a job that drains you and you're tired of talking yourself out of your big ideas, it's time to move. In Raise Your Standards, my free 21-day challenge, I'll coach you step by step to get through fear, make clear decisions, and start building the work and life you actually want. Click the link in the description to join the next round or hop on the waitlist today. All right, now back to the conversation. So this was me over the past few weeks, right? I struggled with this, even though I know that, yeah, the all or nothing mindset doesn't work. I'm learning how to be an imperfectionist. And I didn't even realize that's what I was doing, right? I was actually looking down on home workouts, even though
Yeah.
I know for sure that every little bit counts, right? It's a compound effect. It's not me going ham in the gym for a week that's going to change my life. It's
Facts.
it's a consistent thing, right? And I'm glad that, because like when I traveled over this past few weeks, I think I did maybe 3.5 home workouts over 2 weeks. And for my mind, that is like, I have failed. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. What is home workouts? I even hate home workouts. Blah blah. Meanwhile, one of the reason why one of them is half is because I couldn't get through the whole of it. Like, it was actually intense. I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is whooping my butt, you know? But it's just this,
Nice.
like, I think some of it is even wrapped around our identity, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at me, I did this much at the gym and I spent 1 hour doing this and blah,
Yes.
blah. And that's how a lot of high achievers think. Like, we attach a lot of things that we do and how much we do it to our identity. And so God forbid that, for example, me, in a span of 2 weeks, my ideal situation is I have worked out 6 days a week. At least I've done strength training 6 times over a 2-week period, right?
Yes.
But for me, it was a real struggle for me. And you might be struggling with that thing too. You probably are. I'm sure you are. Let me tell you something. And you can ask Dala. Like, I struggled with this, and I told her, I was like, Dala, I feel like maybe I should have paused my program with you at this time. I feel like I quote unquote wasted it. Can you imagine? Like, it's not like I didn't show up at all. I did. I got a lot of steps in. I slept when I could. I worked out when I could. And I still felt like, man, I'm failing at this thing. Dela, do you remember how you responded to me and what you told me about how this is actually the time to continue in the program? If you can share
Yes.
with everyone.
Yes. So the time that we always feel like we are the busiest, so much so that we're like, if I can't be perfect, if I can't be doing it all right, I shouldn't be doing it at all. Like, I want to hit a board. You're a perfect example. You hold yourself to a really high standard. And if you're like, if I'm not crushing it, I just want to completely evade. But the truth is, like, life is always going to be like that. Life is always going to have crazy busy weeks. Honestly, especially if you are somebody that's high achieving and you've set really high goals for yourself, there's probably more and more stressful and busy times in your future. And if every single time life gets busy, hectic, different, your environment changes, you hit the abort button, you are never going to learn how to be adaptable in those different situations and environments, and how to maintain baseline health habits to keep yourself going and keep yourself healthy long term. So I always like to tell clients those are the best weeks to try. And trying is not defined as being perfect. Trying is defined as trying. Like, you adapted, you focused on sleep, you focused on your steps, you got home workouts done, you started work exercising in a different way, but now you learned what you can do when you're out of town for 2 weeks and you lose your gym membership. You now have experience and a blueprint for what to do in the future. Had you actually just paused and said, like, no, 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 I'm just not going to participate in health right now at all, you would have no information. So the next time that you're faced with travel or moving or being busy, you stop again. And then every time you're busy, you're a starter and a stopper. And so you're just cyclically like, oh, I feel kind of healthy. Oh, abandoned ship. Oh, I feel kind of healthy. Oh, abandoned ship. Not only are you never going to achieve like peak physical performance and health, but it's also probably going to be really difficult to ever achieve like your physique goals. That way either. And that's how people get stuck in those cycles of being a start stopper forever. And what you did on this recent trip was like break cycles like that and learn how it can look different. And I'm actually highly adaptable. And now I know how to do that.
Yep. Yep. Totally. Oh my gosh. I now have some kind of blueprint, and I feel like,
Yeah.
in the next 6 weeks or so, I have another trip coming up, and it's just a different mindset going into that trip. Like, not only do I know that, hey, Kepo, you might not be able to hit everything the way you would if you were home, but it's
Yeah.
okay to do home workouts. And I think I might approach it differently. Like, okay, maybe I'll even look forward to the home workouts because I know that this is what is actually, this is going to work for me, and it's going to have some kind of compound effect. And yeah, I had to go through that. But you all, there is something that you might not be catching on to here. So I am going to make it so clear you can't miss it. The reason why I was able to get through those 2 weeks that was just very, very intense is because I had a coach in my corner. The, the, the mistake that I see a lot of people making is they go at this thing alone, and they don't value having a coach in this area of life or in other areas of life that that it's not like, it's not second hand for you. I think the only
Yeah.
place where we don't need a coach is eating out. But well, no, but seriously, like, because I had a coach in my corner and I am part of a community of other people who are also in some kind of fitness or health or weight loss, weight gain, whatever body tone journey, um, it helped. It really, really helped. If I were doing it alone, all the stupid things, the dumb lies I would have told myself, I'm busy. Okay, when I get back. Okay, on Monday. What is it? What is it with us and dates? September 1st or Monday,
Yes.
just
Monday, especially.
start on Thursday, September 4th, like in the afternoon, You start as soon as you're convicted and you get a coach. You work with a coach. And for me specifically, this is a shameless plug. I'm not even ashamed to say this. I specifically work with Dala, and I specifically absolutely love DLD Nation. That is the name of our business, because it's not just Dala. Dala found a way to clone herself in many different types of coaches, and they all have like this different expertise. If you're like a lady and you want like specific hormonal help or whatever, they have it on their team. If you're a guy as well, they also help guys as well. They have guy trainers, and they are just good. The reason why they are just good, or no, we don't do good. The reason why they are excellent And if you're annoyed at this shameless plug, is because I'm triggering you and you know you need a coach. But the reason why they're good at this is because they help you make this thing a part of your life. Because life is going to continue to happen. There will always be something. There will always be a reason to skip that workout or to, I don't know, just throw everything out the window and not even do
Yeah.
anything. And then you're back at January 1st and you're making the same resolution again. It's because you don't have somebody in your corner, a coach who is coaching you through those really tough times, and you are doing it alone. So, the end. Okay, I'll shut up on my plug because I actually want to ask like one or two more questions before we go. Um, this is around working out specifically. If a busy person has only 30 minutes 2 days a week
Hmm.
out, and then they have the weekend is different because maybe they have more time, there's no work, blah blah blah. What should they do in those 2 30-minute slots during the week?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And what they do during those thoughts slots during the week might depend a little bit on are we also working out on the weekend? Because if we have 3 days a week to work out, I usually program for clients like lower body, upper body, and then a full body day. If we're only working out 2 days a week for 30 minutes, I would make both of those sessions full body sessions. And what I mean by that is we're training like our upper body, our arms, our legs, our core. We're training everything in one session because we only have 2 sessions per week and we want to get the most bang for our buck. When we look at like 4 day workout splits, that's when we usually have the luxury to fully separate a couple of lower body days and a couple of upper body days. And obviously, if we're doing a 5 day work week, we have the flexibility to make that fifth day kind of what we want. Cardio, more upper body, more lower body, and it might depend on our goals. But if we're only working out 2 times a week, 30 minutes, I would do resistance training and I would do full body movements and I would probably even superset some stuff. And what I mean by that is you do one exercise immediately followed by another before you take a break and you take rest. So you're moving more quickly and intentionally through the 30 minutes so that you can fit some more exercises in. You'll see supersets kind of start to disappear as you get towards, 4 day splits and 5 day splits when you have more time, but they're a great strategy for busy people to crank something out. And I myself, I do a lot of 20-minute workouts or 30-minute workouts on the weekends when I have my toddler and I'm trying to just hurry and do something while he's napping. And when I do those, I'll do 2 or 3 supersets. So 4 exercises or 6 exercises, just go, 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 get in, get out, and get it done.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. I like that. And why didn't you mention cardio in all of this?
That's a good question. So we need muscle mass for longevity and mobility. More and more research is coming out that when we look at elderly populations, when we look at sarcopenia, age related muscle mass, when we look at osteopenia and osteoporosis, age related loss of bone density, these are things that put us at a very high risk of falls and injuries that can often be debilitating and sometimes lower our lifespan and shorten our life because whenever our mobility is affected and we can't even walk and move and do things for ourselves, that changes our lifespan dramatically. There's also the benefits of resistance training and having more muscle mass on things like our insulin sensitivity. And we know that we have a significant issue with diabetes and metabolic disorders in the US in particular. Cardio is great. In my dream world, you're also doing cardio. In my dream world, maybe there's 2 lifting sessions and we could do 10 minutes of cardio a week too. Can we fit in like a 1 mile run or 10 minutes in the Stairmaster? It doesn't have to be super long. The best program is comprehensive and does include that cardiovascular fitness as well. But cardio does not offer the same resistance stimulus for our muscles and our bones and isn't as protective of mobility over time.
Okay. I if you're listening, did you just make the connection? And I'm asking the listeners this. I hope you made the connection between exercising, as in strength training, not doing cute little, I don't know, what do you call it, Zumba classes. No offense if you like Zumba, but I'm sorry, man. Science is science. Well, I'm not sorry. But we just made
Yeah.
a connection between training, building muscle mass and training your muscles with longevity and chronic diseases like diabetes. Like, if your brain is not going, wow, 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 okay. when do I when do I sign up for my next session or whatever so I can get strength training in? How do I put it to
Yes.
my calendar? Then please rewind and listen to what Dela just said. So
Yeah.
Dela, so that's on the working outside. And I know that we can go into more depth here. I think something, just one thing real quick, and then I'll ask you a question about food. Something that hurts my heart when I see people who are starting their strength training journey for the first time is their ego getting in the way. And I see them doing really poor form and very heavy weights.
Mm-hmm.
Please, how would you advise people to start, especially if maybe, yeah, they kind of have their way, they know their way around the gym, maybe, like, where should they start?
Yeah. Well, I would start by saying the most impressive thing that you can do in the gym is have good form. The people that know what lifting looks like, the form is going to be way sexier than the weight that you have on the bar. So let's first nail the form so that we don't get injured and then we're out of the gym, and like what good is going to the gym anyways if we're constantly getting injured and then we can't go back and participate and be consistent. So if you're brand new and you don't really know what good form looks like, or just how to practice it yet, one, I would say, like, using machines. Machines can be strategic for beginners. I'm thinking like the seated leg extensions, even leg press machines, um, seated leg curls, lying leg curls, like these kinds of machines, even the upper body like presses. They have a path that the machine will take you that is usually protective of form. When we think about dangerous injuries, it might be more going for really heavy dumbbells or putting yourself under a barbell, like a barbell back squat or a barbell bench press that you weren't prepared for. And then there's absolutely no path, and it's truly all on you to stabilize that weight. So think about starting with machines, think about starting with dumbbells. When in doubt, go light. Surprise yourself that it was really easy and then go back for heavier weight. You don't want to surprise yourself that it was too heavy and get caught in the moment. And even if you don't want to hire like an in-person trainer, some people are like, I don't want somebody, walking around pointing at my form in front of other people at the gym. I want more privacy than that, which I totally understand. There are resources that you can utilize, and you can like privately film yourself to assess your form and kind of teach yourself good form. When I first learned, I would record myself discreetly and then compare it to YouTube videos and kind of self teach. We also, like, not even meaning this is a plug, but it's going to sound like a plug. And our app's $20 a month. And on every single exercise, we have a form video of somebody demoing it and talking you through it, setup, how to pick it up, how to not make a mistake. And so, like, there's lots of apps like that these days, but you can find apps that are actually going to teach you and take you through the form. And then, in another best case scenario, it's kind of what you and I do together, where you can record yourself in the gym, send the video to me, and I can give you feedback. And what I find working with people is I'll have clients send me form videos every week, and they only usually do it for the first like 1 to 2 months of working together, and then they've got it. And I'll work with people for like years on end, and it's really just the beginning, like weeks, couple of months, that it takes to kind of get it down. And then you've got those skills for life, and now you can increase the weight. Now you can increase the sets and the reps and do more and more impressive things because you're going to be able to do it safely.
You know what my favorite part is? And I think this is going to help people that are just to, their ego gets in the way. The fact that they can help themselves. I love how you said you recorded yourself and you compared yourself with actual YouTube videos to see what you were doing wrong. Like, guys and girls, if you don't want anyone to see that you're a beginner, I don't know why. Maybe we're going to create another episode for that. This is
Yeah.
something that you can do. And when I was talking about how people don't invest, they don't put value on coaches in this types of areas. This just goes to show you that the investment doesn't even need to be up to a one-on-one investment if that's not your jam. $20 a month for an app that is going to show you not just the workouts you should do, but how to actually do it safely.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got my Netflix auto bill the other day and it was $17 something. I'm just saying. When I go out,
Same.
yeah, when I go out and I order, I don't know, salmon something something. Like the bill is at least if it has any protein on it, is at least $25. So
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm just letting you guys know, like, make it make sense, yeah? Okay, so now final question, hopefully. Oh my gosh, like, oh, I wish we could go longer. Okay.
I know we could talk about any one of these topics for
For
days.
days, exactly, exactly. Food. Okay, let me
Yes.
tell you what my own gripe is right now, and then you can then give everybody your advice on how to start, where to start. I see some people, they're like, okay, I want to get healthier, right? Busy professionals. And they're always thinking, how can I make this thing easier for me? We've been trained to think, how can I optimize? How can I work smarter? Blah, blah, blah. And they go and they get protein shakes and they get like, oh, I need to get my creatine and I need to get my BCAs. And I'm like, sis, what are you having for breakfast?
Yeah.
What is your lunch? What is your dinner? I will say some people say, oh, the ingredients, yeah, it has like too many crazy things there that I can't pronounce. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, before you start focusing on the ingredients and, oh, it has peg, something, something on it, like, can you even try to get your square meals? Do you know how much you should be eating? Like, the
Yeah.
basics, that stuff just drives me crazy. But that's why I'm not the nutrition and, and fitness coach. You are, so you have that patience. What is your advice for busy people in optimizing their nutrition, especially during the week? During the week is tough. The weekend is another
Yeah.
question, but during the week, what's your advice on to optimizing that?
Yeah, so I agree with you. Sometimes people think I'm going to get healthy. What supplements do I need? When we're not even evaluating the foundations, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our snacks. Like, you're eating every day already. There's something that you're doing that should be optimized before we supplement, as like the name literally insinuates. So I am all about the busy meals and the busy person hacks. I really dislike cooking and I wish that I liked it more. But things that I do, like, don't be afraid of frozen options. I think that a lot of people think that frozen vegetables are like to be frowned upon, or frozen meats, and that these aren't good options. They're often fresher and they have the same quality in terms of nutrients, often even higher because they're preserved and they're frozen than some fresh options. And they make it easy for somebody who just worked a really long day and just got home to throw a healthy dinner together and not always be turning to like DoorDash and Uber Eats. So, like, we will do rotisserie chickens all day because it's fully cooked. It's chicken. You just pull a chunk off and you've got your protein for the night. Frozen protein sources. If you've got a Costco membership, bulk protein that's super, super cheap. Costco is great for that. Frozen vegetables. And then even frozen fruit can be great for breakfast smoothies. I remember, whenever I was a nurse, I didn't have the luxury of eating breakfast at home. Maybe some of your listeners don't either, and they need something on the go. That can be an opportunity. Fruit, get that protein powder that you were talking about, make a smoothie, drink it during your commute, drink it on your way to work. And you are going to have to prepare your meals the night before for the next day's lunch if you're out of the house. That's just something that you're going to have to do. If you're always like, I don't have time, so I'm going out to lunch, Like you're going to waste more money and you're going to waste a lot of calories and probably eat things that aren't as supportive of your health. So you could, be the person that meal preps on like Sundays and makes like, 4 lunches for the week. I also have a rule of thumb that makes it kind of easy for me that I'm like, anytime that I sit down to make something, I make 4 servings, period. If I'm making myself dinner tonight, I'm making 4 servings of it. So now I have lunch tomorrow. If I'm going to spend any amount of time being in the kitchen, I'm going to batch and get more bang for my buck. And if you're a high performer too, you probably batch a lot in your work already because you're always looking for efficiency and to get the most bang for your buck. So if you ever are going to prepare something, just make extra. If you have the time one morning to make yourself a breakfast burrito, make 2. Put the other one in the fridge or the freezer for tomorrow's breakfast that you can like heat up and then take on the go. So don't be afraid of like convenient food hacks at the grocery store. I don't know why we look down on those, but then we think that like eating out is superior. It's not. So don't be afraid for those conveniency based hacks at the grocery store. Always make more. And yes, you are going to have to think ahead to a certain degree because if you're eating out of the house for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's probably going to be really difficult to meet your micronutrient needs, your protein needs, your fiber needs, and maybe your budgetary needs too.
I love these hacks and I hope you're taking notes, everybody, because even I found something here that is super helpful for me, which is when you cook, just cook 4 servings. I can't say
Yeah.
that I do that all the time. And you're right. Like you might as well, if you're going to stand and do that food, you might as well do enough to last a couple of servings. And that is just brilliant. I love that. This has been so good. We talked about the number one thing that is actually killing your ability to make a fit and healthy life, your lifestyle, right? And it all goes back to mindset, trying to be a perfectionist, the all or nothing mindset, trying to go ham on everything. And, we talked about the things that you can do. If you can't optimize everything, optimize on your sleep, right? If, when you are busy, when life gets going, it's okay to do a little bit of things as opposed to just throwing everything away. Having a coach and being in a community, priceless. What else did we talk about? We talked about
Working out,
working,
learning how to work out.
learning how to work out. If you had just 30 minutes, 2 30-minute blocks during the week, assuming you have more time in the weekend to do more stuff, you do weight bearing exercises. We linked that to longevity and avoiding chronic illnesses like diabetes, and also came down to food as well. Before you start supplementing, please do the basics and stop looking down on convenience things like frozen foods and blah, blah, blah. Like you can actually, there are many ways to help yourself. And there are so many angles that we can take this. Like we can go so deep, but even you will check out, right? I think we've given you enough. Wouldn't you agree? Anyway,
Enough to digest.
yeah, I know, right? Thank you so much, Dela. This was really good. If people want to work with you and get in your world, where should they go? Where should they start?
Yeah, well, just shoot me a message on Instagram. Dala Loves Dumbbells. My first name is Dala. Loves Dumbbells. And if you come find me on Instagram, we can connect in the DMs and we can talk about any and all of the ways that I can help you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so, so much. I hope you all got something out of this. If you didn't, rewind it and play it again. You'll get it. All right.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
Thank you so much, Dela. Thanks for tuning in to Grow with Kepo. If this episode sparked something for you, subscribe, share it with a friend, and keep growing.